just talk about where we stand this year compared to last year?
Right. Really, we want to thank the winter we just had. The record. Wait a second.
Okay, I can ask it again. I'll ask again.
Right. Perfect timing.
All right, you're good.
Okay. Can you just talk about where we stand this year compared to last year?
Right. To really have a true understanding where we stand now, we have to look where we came from, which was a record-breaking snowpack, right? A record-breaking winter in our mountains. We get 90 to 95% of our water supply from snowmelt and its associated runoff. So if we look at our reservoir conditions right now, excluding the largest ones like Lake Powell and Flaming Gorge, those large ones, across the state we're at about 85% of full capacity in our area reservoirs. Our normal for this time of year is about 70%. And last year we were at 57%. So right there from that record-breaking snowpack, we've replenished our area reservoir system and our water supply is looking in really good shape right now.
How does the fire threat look compared to last year? Are we kind of in the same spot? Have we caught up?
So if we look at last year, we were still within, an extreme drought period. This winter has significantly improved the drought conditions across the area. We've only got a small percentage of state in moderate drought right now, and that's the worst severity, and that's in south central Utah currently. If we look at what all that moisture did to our vegetation, a lot of our vegetation, the moisture in that vegetation has improved. Also with that moisture, we saw in areas a pretty bonus grass crop. And when we're talking fires, we're talking, the vegetation and the fuels. This year, what we're looking at currently now and moving forward is drying out of those grasses, more the low elevation. So the fire potential, especially across far southern Utah right now, we are getting to the point where that fire potential is becoming elevated. Mostly within those grasses, though, and not the larger timber fires like we've seen in years past.
And I know because of more water, there's taller grass, so it almost increases the fire threat.
It can for those grasses, right? But again, I'm real positive about this year is that at our higher elevations, where we have more of the dense timber, we've seen those very large fires like we saw in 2018 and 2020. That potential is lower this year. One of the direct results of that phenomenal winter we just went through.
And when you're looking at fire threat, what are all the factors to be considered?
So there are a few factors. We talked about the fuels, right? The vegetation. Weather plays a critical role for the potential for larger and rapidly spreading fires. So stronger winds, especially when they get above 25 miles an hour or so, in some cases 30, combined with low humidity. And I mean, look, the last couple of days we've had extremely low humidity, single digits in a lot of areas, but we haven't had the winds, only light breezes. We also look for thunderstorm potential, especially thunderstorms that don't produce a lot of rainfall. Dry, where you get lightning strikes, but not much in the way of rain. So lightning is a spark for a fire, and wind and low humidity carry a fire.
And how does the triple digit weather kind of play into that?
When we look into things like that, it's the warmer it is, the more rapidly that we see drying conditions occur. So if we look back over the last few months, June was phenomenal by Utah standards, well below normal temperatures, near to slightly above normal precipitation. We really haven't had excessive heat until just within this last week's time. But now we're in the heart of our warm, hot, dry period. The monsoon, which can sometimes bring relief to us with thunderstorms each day, that's been suppressed this year, and it's looking like it's going to remain suppressed moving forward. So we're going to, if we look at our drought conditions or wildfire conditions, the weather here moving forward is only going to exacerbate things a little bit more, but we're in much better shape than we have been for the last several years.
Okay, well, is there anything people should know, anything they should do to prepare, to prevent wildfire threat in their own backyard.
Well, just because we had a wet winter doesn't mean we're not going to have a wildfire season. Every year here in Utah and across the Great Basin as a whole, we have a wildfire season. It's just different things. This year we're looking at the grasses. So if you've got dry vegetation around your homes that can be removed safely, that could be a protector, especially if you live on that urban wildland interface here. Like, you look at areas along the Wasatch Front where you have homes tucked right up against the mountain areas. So yeah, you just want to do your best to keep a safe area around your home, and be very cautious if you're ever using power equipment, especially on hot days outside, or certainly with fires.